I'm gonna leave the chili mac.
It's got an apple. Like swinging in the hammock is the classic thing to do, for sure.
For kids.
Oh, that's always hard. Phase 1. Time for rest. This is the first I've never felt a water like this.
Really?
In the water.
Guaranteed like good weather.
Have you done it before?
Actually in the jungle. Behold! Look at this thing! Look how steep it is. You see the person? So this is the top of Half Dome? Amazing! Oh shit!
You see that guy? He's going real slow. Let's catch him.
Dude, it's a fucking ladder. I didn't realize how steep it was.
Let's go! To the top and back
down. Gushers too. Not a cloud in the sky.
I cannot wait to see you wearing that poncho snuggie thing.
To bed. Oh man.
freezing my ass off. I should have bought the fucking sleeping bag.
Kraig!
Oh, give me your trousers, fucking.
Light a fire!
Okay. Ready?
Go for it. Here we go.
Alright, slow and steady.
Yeah. A lot of this is wrist strength, to be honest. Just want to get some nice handheld shots. How you feeling?
Better. It's all arm work.
Yeah,
so my legs can rest.
Yeah, this is your specialty. We're almost there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think there's just one other dude up there. Yeah.
There's one guy.
We gotta go high five that old man. All right, let's go.
Much quicker than doing this.
I mean, the feet did it in like 2 hours, 40 minutes or something.
Over there, yeah. That's I'd say half a day. I'd say they do sunrise.
Yeah, see at the bottom.
Wow. Yeah. Look at all this energy. I'm gonna get him.
I was just enjoying. I'm just going to say actually.
Coffee does make you feel like half human.
Yeah. It's not bad.
It's actually pretty good.
It's nice to have like a man.
I just took a shit in the jungle. And literally, I turned my back and there was like dung beetles rolling my shit away.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is like great. Like,
Yeah, this is a really good shot.
it's so crazy. Alright. Ready?
So cool!
Made it!
Oh, cheers!
All the way back in 2020, I got a message on Instagram from Henry just saying that he was a fan and floated the idea of hiking together if I was ever in California. And I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I know Henry from Crazy Rich Asians and it might be fun. But a lot of time passed and I just recently remembered this conversation and decided to ask Henry if he actually wanted to go hike. Henry, of course, was off shooting movies in Madrid, but gave me a time window, the end of July, as a possible date to hike. I wasn't sure what his expectations were, so I gave him two options, an easy one close to LA or a more ambitious one overnight in Yosemite. Henry was down to do the more ambitious overnight hike, So we started making plans. On the time I was kind of doing a tour of hikes in that area of the West Coast and Pacific Northwest, I was hoping to do Ray Lakes or Sequoia or Kings Canyon National Park, but there was just so much snow up there that the roads were kind of destroyed. My plan was to go to Yosemite because I've been there before. I can manage all of the permitting and the bear can and all of that. And it would be cool to finally do some backpacking. So the North Rim overnight and then go do Half Dome with another night. So maybe like a 3-day trip, 2 nights would be really cool. But 2 things happened, which are kind of related. There was a heat wave all in that area, and Yosemite was having like 100-degree temperature days. And there was also the Pika wildfire that happened right before we were planning on going on North Dome. So part of the North Rim Trail was on fire. So while I'm hiking around and doing this tour, I was online trying to get all the reservations we needed. Camp 4, overnight, backcountry permits, and Half Dome permits for both of us. So I flew into SFO, got my rental car, and started making my way to the national park. Stopped at a grocery store and got all of these delicious snacks, a lot of fruits and vegetables, chips and nuts. And as I was doing the drive to Yosemite, seeing 92, 93, 94 degree temperatures, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so hot. Henry was getting there later that day, so I got in early and made sure that our spot was good to go at Camp 4 to sleep in tents and at least know that we could do that and park our cars was nice. I took my time finding a good spot, setting up my tent, eating some food. There are bear storage boxes to keep all of your stuff. And then Henry arrived. It was great to meet him, hear his accent. He's a funny guy, and we set up his tent. It was really hot midday, so we went for a swim in the river. The next morning, we woke up early to wait in line at the ranger's office to try to get whatever walk-up permits we could manage. And we got exactly what we wanted. We got the Half Dome cable permits, as well as the entry and exit that we wanted, and a backcountry permit to sleep at Little Yosemite. So what do you think? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
Pack weighs like 50 pounds, dude.
So we were in a fantastic mood and ready to go. So we drove up to Glacier Point and started our hike. It was kind of funny because Henry had the exact same hyperlight backpack that I had. So we were definitely matching for those shots while hiking. And he was just happy to be out there, cracking jokes at every turn. Just a really positive, happy, awesome dude. It was nice to have someone to talk to while hiking. And I think this fun definitely translates in the video. Definitely in comparison to my solo hikes, which are a bit somber and quiet and silent. This one was a bit more fun. The main characteristic of this day of hiking was the heat. It was hot. And as soon as we got to our campsite, set up our tent, we went into the river, which was just fantastic. Like, normally it's just too cold to go into rivers and streams, but this was much needed. Once we were rested and had dinner, we set off for our summit of Half Dome. I've never seen the cables empty like this, and it was really nice because we could go our own speed and take our time. Henry's definitely a fit guy and works out and does training for movies and is an action movie star. So it was really funny to see him hiking. He doesn't hike that much, but he was definitely keeping up and cursing me out a little bit and saying, how can you do this so fast? And with the gloves on, you know, he did totally fine up the cables. He was moving. We joked that there was one guy up there, and of course he was right where the best shot is at the top. And we could actually see some of the smoke from the wildfire that made us change our plan. So it's kind of full circle. Henry was sleeping in a poncho, which is kind of like an insulated sleeping bag that you wear. I kind of had super ambitious plans to do a summit of Cloud's Rest the next morning and then head out, but we decided with the heat and just being tired that we would just head back down to the valley. And then I got on a plane and flew back to New York. This was a 2-week long trip with 3 or 4 hikes, so a lot. It was a bit different hiking with someone like Henry and making a video, not doing my solo fast packing kind of thing, but I had fun. It was great getting to meet him, and I hope we can hang in New York and LA and possibly do another hike at some point in the future. And it can be a little weird meeting someone that you don't really know to go on an overnight hiking trip. He's trusting me a bit to like kind of be his unofficial guide, but just his positive nature and jokes made this really fun. And back in New York, I found a nice little care package from Darn Tough, which is just the best socks. Noodle has sent me a nice package of meals for backpacking. And of course, I missed my 2 girls, Sasha and Mika. I got to work editing all of the videos that I shot on the tour, with the first one being the How Sound Crest Trail in Vancouver. This person sent me this, I think, oil painting of me hiking with Ghost in Nepal, which is just amazing. Like, I would love to see how big it actually is, but that's really cool. I met up for a nice run with Jeremy. I published my video for the Timberline Trail, and Mika and I had our 3-year anniversary of meeting for the first time. And while editing this video, I asked for some questions on Instagram, so I'm gonna go through and answer a few of those. I bet Mount Fuji is best experienced from around the base, looking at it like across the lake or something. But it seems like it would be good for a YouTube video, so maybe I'll just kind of suck it up and summit Mount Fuji at some point when I get back to Japan. The Be-Free water bottle filter that I use now is just a must-have. Like, I can't imagine having to carry water, not knowing if I have water. It's just so simple, so good, so quick and easy. And also the sun hoodie, just simple wind and sun protection built into one shirt. Fantastic. And there might be some news about a Kraig Adams sun hoodie coming soon, so Other than returning to the camera, I use almost every single shot that I shoot. Because I've done this so much, I know what I need for the video, but I would say I'd like to shoot more, especially the logistics, the in-between moments, and not just the main meat of the hike. I want to tell the full story of getting to the trailhead, why I picked it in the first place, what I expected. All of those little moments I usually shoot with my iPhone or take photos, but I would like to capture the whole thing with the Sony camera. I don't do any color grading. I just want it to look as natural as possible. Like whatever I saw with my eyes, I'm just trying to match that as closely as I can. And sometimes it's just too sunny or I'm in too much of a rush to properly expose. So I need to brighten or darken the image, add a little saturation if it just feels a little flat, or slightly tweak the white balance if it seems off. For me these days, making slight adjustments to the white balance based on the amount of direct versus shaded surfaces is like a big thing that I'm kind of focusing on right now. Everyone talks about color grading, but like not nailing the white balance or being able to correct it properly, that should be paramount. So this is our apartment in New York, in Brooklyn. This is my desk with my computers. I have my hiking stuff, my clothes, and then filmmaking stuff. Pretty much I own is like right here. This is my little nook. This is a challenging window, I'll tell you. We have a dining room, a nice cozy living room with a puppy. Yeah, he's a cozy. The TV, the plants, nice big window. Brooklyn outside. Mika is in the bedroom with her office, her desk, a little bathroom, tiny little kitchen. We really need a bigger kitchen. And I'm making some coffee right now. And that is our apartment tour here in Brooklyn. Okay, bye. 5 years is a bit hard to imagine, but I definitely would like to get back to vlogging everything a bit more with the Sony camera. The idea was to do that iPhone only and just shoot everything and then narrate and tell the full story of whatever I'm up to. But I think I could just put a little more effort into capturing that same content, my life, with a Sony camera and then telling it as a story. Looking on WeatherSpark and doing research is super important on deciding when I travel. I want the temperature to be good, you know, like a low of 40, a high of 70, between that range. And of course, if you go up in elevation, it gets colder. So you got to keep that in mind. There's usually like a busy season and a quiet season for the amount of people and tourists. I would like fewer people on the trail. So maybe I'll shoulder between those two. There are seasons, of course. So if it's drier, it's easier to hike. You don't want to hike when it's raining, but it's also a trade-off of the grass and the trees and vegetation being brown and dead looking if it's dry during the winter. It's really hard to decide when to travel to all these places because there's so many variables. I'm trying to find a healthy balance of how much I'm working and traveling this year, but I do have a couple plans. I'd like to go to Asia to hike in September, and hopefully on the way back I would really like to stop to hike in the Dolomites to do Alta Via 1 in the fall colors in October. And I would also like to sneak in one more Adirondacks fall colors hike with Sasha and Mika. Like a road trip up from New York would be really nice. And I'd also like to shoot some videos just here in New York, whether it's a minimalism video, some videos on advice for hikers, a video all about maps and trails and how to not get lost maybe, as well as the hiking in New York video. Maybe in November would be pretty cool to do with the fall colors here. Thank you for all the great questions, and thanks for watching all the way to the end here. Thanks. Bye.